As someone who's stuck in pain, have you ever thought it was super weird that you can be totally fine while you're doing something, but then your pain flares up maybe hours later or the next day? Super weird, right? So what's going on? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you think about it. Or does it? You might think something is special or, complex about your case, but it's actually very common. So in today's video, I want to help you understand what could be going on if you experience this sort of delayed onset of pain, because this is a common source of frustration and just confusion for people I chat with every single day, in that they just can't figure out for the life of them why they're doing something and they feel totally fine, but then later they hurt. So stick around because I guarantee you have never heard what I'm about to tell you. Real quick, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Dr. Charlie Johnson. I am a physical therapist and a board specialist in orthopedics, and I help people worldwide with unresolved back, butt, and sciatica problems basically learn to fix themselves by teaching them how to use the mind and movement as medicine. All right, so let's dive into it. So what's up with this whole fine one moment and hurt the next? And what does it mean? So let's start with what most people would consider to be a very normal response to injury. It goes something like this. You hit your finger with a hammer. You scream, an inflammatory response begins, and it eventually, kind of swells up within the next 24, 48 hours, right? You get stiffness in the finger, and eventually over time, maybe within a week or 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks if you hit it really hard, right? Symptoms calm down, finger goes back to normal. So it hurts immediately in the moment, and then it fades over time. This is normal. Now imagine you're going along, you smash your finger with a hammer, and you don't even notice it, right? Let's just say that 2 hours later or the next day, you're at the grocery store, just minding your own business, and all of a sudden, you scream out in pain, you hold your finger, everyone's staring at you. That would be totally weird, right? That wouldn't happen. That would be an abnormal response to an injury. So what's the point I'm trying to make? If you injure your body structurally, you physically damage the tissue in your body, you would experience an immediate onset of symptoms at the time of injury. There's no delay there. And we've all experienced it, right? When you break a bone, you get a paper cut, or you stub your toe, you feel it in the moment, there's no question about it. It's predictable, and in these cases of physical structural injury, right, the pain you experience is related to structural damage of your physical body. And this makes total sense. It's just how things work. But what about delayed pain? What's going on here? Without sugarcoating it, this is it. If you experience a delayed pain response, you're fine in the moment, but you hurt hours later or the next day, then this is inconsistent with pain of structural origin. And instead, it's a sign of non-structural pain or a learned behavioral pain response. If you're outside gardening or shopping or doing something else that you love and you feel fine in the moment, but you flare up later, it defies the body's biological and physiological response to injury. Therefore, the experience of delayed pain must be explained by something else. Something that is non-structural or not physical in origin. So what the heck are you talking about, Charlie? Shooting it to you straight, delayed pain is a sign that your pain is not due to a problem with your hardware or your body, but is instead due to a mistake by your brain, a software problem. And the reason why delayed pain confuses people is because within the context of their current understanding and or worldview, sort of what they've experienced and what they've been led to believe about pain, it just doesn't make any sense. Not because the phenomenon of delayed pain is confusing or doesn't make sense. It makes total sense to me. But because people can't explain it given their current knowledge base and worldview. Right? You don't just injure your body and not know about it or have some immediate response to it. And the truth is that we as humans have been conditioned that all physical feelings, in this case a pain in the back, butt, or leg, are due to physical problems or damage. But it's simply not true. Sure, sometimes physical pain is due to a physical or structural problem, like in the case of whacking your finger with a hammer. And this would be what I would call a hardware problem. But oftentimes what people think is physical pain is actually non-structural, meaning not due to a physical problem in the body, but due to the brain, a glitch in the software. You have to understand the brain is the most upstream part of the nervous system. You probably heard me talk about upstream problems causing downstream effects, right? Well, the brain is the most upstream part of the entire system. It's the CEO, if you will, and it can cause you to experience what feels like very physical pains, the kind where you're like, but Dr. Charlie, it hurts right here. And I'm like, I know. Now, disclaimer for the comments that are to follow, right? This does not mean your pain is made up, that it's not real, or, something's wrong with you, or that you're crazy, or that it's all in your head. Not at all. All pain is real. Now, the truth is that experiencing delayed pain in and of itself is not enough to convince most people that their problem is due to a software issue or sort of mistake made by the brain. People are so magnetized to the feeling of, I hurt here, therefore there must be a problem here, even though nobody can figure it out. And so there are many yeah buts Dr. Charlie. But what about this? I agree, these things need to be explained, and we need to do more detective work as it relates to the other elements within your pain experience. I do agree that it's never a good idea to take just one piece of evidence, right, in isolation and jump to conclusions. But imagine just for a moment that I might be onto something. Maybe your brain is causing the problem. So what do we do about it? Well, we need to upgrade the software. We need to begin reconditioning your response to pain by teaching you about pain, what it really is, and by giving you techniques to prove to your brain and your body that you're safe when you begin to experience the pain and the delayed onset. And here's an interesting phenomenon that occurs in folks who have been stuck in pain for some time. We call it predictive coding. So let me explain this and walk you through a quick experiment to help you figure out if your brain might be part of the problem. So try this. Take an activity that you experience pain with. It could be anything. For example, though, sitting is a very common problem for people with, back, butt, and sciatica problems. So we'll use that. So let's just imagine that you and I were friends. I walked up to your door. I knocked on it. You opened up. You said, "Hey, Charlie, what's up?" I said, "Hey, how are you?" Right? And I said, "Guess what we're doing today?" And you're like, "What are we doing?" And I'm like, "Guess what? We're going on a 10-hour car ride. Long car ride ahead of us. Are you ready?" What just happened? Within milliseconds, all kinds of thoughts and feelings and emotions flooded your brain. And your brain already decided that driving in a car for that long was going to be a terrible experience. Thoughts of, "Oh, heck no," or "I've got to find something else," or "Maybe I shouldn't do that. That's a bad idea." Emotions of fear, worry, concern, anxiety all around this long drive popped up. And what's really fascinating, if you think about it, you haven't even sat your butt in the car yet. In fact, you're still just standing there staring at me. I'm wondering what the heck's going on with you. All this is going on in your brain. Your eyes are glazed over, right? Your mouth is wide open. And all this occurs within seconds of me telling you about a long drive. Now, you might not have trouble sitting, but maybe you have trouble walking. So maybe I knock on your door and I say, "Hey, we're going to go for an hour walk. Or we're going to go for an hour swim. Or we're going to go garden or lift or whatever." So just apply it to your situation and see what pops up for you. And recognize that your brain is a very powerful thing. Your brain, not your body, predicts how you should react and creates how you will feel and what you will experience in that specific scenario, even before you've done it. Fascinating stuff. Now, you might think this is too woo-woo or whatever, even though I'm not a woo-woo dude, right? But at the end of the day, think of it like this. You don't see with your eyes. You see with your brain. You see with your visual cortex. You don't feel with your body. You feel with your sensory cortex. Think about that. Pretty crazy if you think about it, right? Cool stuff. And I say all this to help you wrap your head around this idea of when you feel physical pain, you very much want to blame it on some physical thing. But oftentimes the delayed pain that you experience from what you believe to be caused by gardening or walking or sitting too long or whatever it may be is actually caused by the fear, the worry, the concern, the anxiety that comes up, right? And the learned behavioral patterns or responses that have ingrained themselves. You may have caught yourself doing something and then declared out loud, "Oh, I'm going to feel this tomorrow." And guess what? You do. I hope this makes sense. At the very least, plants a seed. You can tell I'm super passionate about this because I talk with people every single day. Say, "Dr. Charlie, how are you going to help me?" Nothing makes sense. It doesn't make sense for a reason, folks. And it's because you don't know what you don't know. So you've got to be willing to kind of adopt a new worldview and let somebody like myself help you. So the take-homes are this. If you experience a delayed onset of pain, this is a sign that your pain experience is at least partially due to a software, brain, not a hardware, body problem. And as a human, you will want to chase, even after watching this video, be like Men in Black, bloop, like you forgot everything I said. Trust me, you'll have to get beat on the head a few times. You will chase a solution aimed at fixing the hardware, meaning you still might think that, I need an MRI. There's got to be something there. They missed something. You'll continue to go down the rabbit hole of getting more physically based treatments with the intent of fixing something. You'll go to the chiropractor and go back to the PTs even though it hasn't been working. We are wired to believe that all physical pains are caused by physical problems. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. And if you're still watching this and you want to get rid of your pain for good, then you need to have an open mind and you need to use both the brain and the body to solve your issue. So that's it for this video. Hopefully this was helpful. And again, plants a seed. Please feel free to check out my free online workshop where I share with you the 4-step pain relief process that I teach to people all around the world who are stuck in a rut and can't seem to solve their problem. You can register for that workshop below. It's probably in the pinned comments as well as in the description. Also, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this. Do you want more content that talks about the brain? Do you not care about the brain? Let me know what's going on there. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell for notifications when I go live every single week. Thanks so much for watching.